Dayalabir Yudhira Pexania Tatratidak Tadati Balabhasya Bande Gurushi Charanarvindam Sakshadari Tvena Samaskashastra Uktastata Avyata Eva Sattvi Kintu Prabhurya Priya Eva Tasya Bande Gurushi Charanarvindam Yasya Prasada Bhagavat Sato Yasya Prasada Nagati Kutopi Jayam Subham Tasya Satri Sandhyam Bande Gurushi Charanarvindam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Utale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavati Pastichadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Prabhupada Gurudev Jayam Swavishnupad Paramahamsa Paribhikacharya Stotra Divine Grace Abhadacharyavinda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nati Guru Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Radha Marodhar Gopa Gopinath Jai Makundi Radha Kundi Kiri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Jamuna Maya Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Marana Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai Lord Premananda Haribo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Jai Prabhupada. Shringadev, Shringadev, Bhagavan. Namaste Nara Shringaya. Lada Lada Dayani. Ranya Kasipu Bhakshaha. Sila Tankar Nakaya Ye. Told the Shingo, called it told the Shingo. You told, you meet the told the Shingo. I hear the Shingo, read the yin the Shingo. Shringamadin Saranam Prapade. Tavakara Kamalavade no Kamabuddha Shringam. Talita Hiranya Kasipu Tanubringam Kesha Retreat Narahari Roop Jaya Jagadisha Hare Shringadev Shringadev Bhagavan Spiritual master is speaking about the pure loving pastimes between Radha and Krishna, making wonderful tasteful arrangements for their loving exchanges. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihar Jana Balaba Girivaran Hari Sodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanajari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Charanjana Jamuna Tira Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sarma Bando Mui Savadana Mate Prabhupada Shahara Prasade Bhai Ibavutari Hayai Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite Guru Mukha Padma Bhakya Chitate Kori Haaya Arana Kori Mane Asa Chakudana Diyoye Janme Janme Prabhu Se Devya Jnana Ride Prokachito Prema Bhakti Yahote Avidjana Vede Gaya Ratorito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamadana Bandhu Lokina Lokira Divano Prabhu Kodadaya Deya Morapada Jaya Devi Askusu Tribhuvano Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Prabhupada 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 Gurudev 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 The lotus feet of our spiritual master is the only way to obtain pure devotional service. We bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes, fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter of your precious lotus feet, Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. Thank you, Adi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Good morning, and welcome to Saturday's morning Bhagavatam class. Our host is indisposed with a power outage and a phone that is no longer working for him. Hare Krishna. So I am going to bumble through here, but good morning to you, Adi Prabhu, and Amrita Kishori. Thank you for co-hosting. Good morning, Jamuna Jaya, the Queen of Smiles. There she is. Good morning. Good morning, Yogeshwari. Hare Krishna. Good morning, Michelle. Hare Krishna. Popi, good morning. Hare Krishna. Neha, good morning. Hare Krishna. Danakeli Das, Hare Krishna. Good morning. And Sammy Long, good morning. Hare Krishna. Welcome to morning class. Our speaker this morning is Jai Nitai Prabhu from the Bhakti Center. And we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summum Bonum, Chapter 86, Arjuna kidnaps Subhadra, and Krishna blesses his devotees, verses 4 and 5. Hare Krishna, Jai Nitai.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me okay?
I think I can hear you okay.
Beautiful. Okay. Thank you very much for being here, everyone. So let me see. So we're going to chant Jai Radha Madhav to start with, and we're blessed this morning to also have with us live and in person Venu Madhuri Devi. Let's see if I can swap this around. Here we go. So there she is sitting in the room. So no Whiskey Das. He's not here with us this morning, but and no whiskey either. Yeah. Yeah, so we're very blessed. So we're going to chant Jai Radha Madhav, and then we'll continue the verse. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Radha Madhav ki jai, Anta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jai Nitai Gauda Premanandi. So Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for being here present. Before we begin, we would first like to seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas. Especially we have with us Adi Purush Prabhu and His Grace Arjuna Prabhu. So seeking your blessings that I can speak something bona fide and relevant from the pages of this exalted 10th canto.
Bless you.
Okay, perfect. Didn't even have to sneeze to get the blessings. So we're almost finishing the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. So we have a few more chapters to relish and bathe in the lotus face, the darshan of the lotus face of Lord Shri Krishna, as described by the previous acharyas. Each canto represents a different aspect of the Lord's rupa, his form. So today we're reading two verses, reading from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 86, as we heard, kidnapping of Subhadra, and texts 4 and 5. So we'll start with the invocation, and you can please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Tatra Vaivashitan Masan Avatsit Sarta Sadakaha Podai Sabajito Bikshnam Ramena Janata Chasaha. Word for word. Tatra, there. Vai, indeed. Varshikam, of the rainy season. Masan, for the months. Avatsit, he resided. Swa, his own. Arta, purpose. Sadakaha, trying to achieve. Podai, by the people of the city. Sabajitaha, honored. Abhikshnam, constantly. Ramena, by Lord Balaram. Janata, who was unaware. Cha, and. Saha, he. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His humble servants ki jai. So, a translation of this verse, number 4. He stayed there during the monsoon months to fulfill his purpose. Lord Balaram and the other residents of the city did not recognize him, other residents of the city not recognizing him, offered him all honor and hospitality. Okay, so before we move on to number 5, anyone would like to say first where Lord Balaram is? Anyone knows where he is? Okay. He went someplace he went there. Okay, what is his purpose? It says he's there. Arjuna, so not Lord Balaram, but where is Arjuna? Balaram, they're in the same place. But where has Arjuna gone? What is
Prabhasa Prabhu?
Say again?
Prabhasa Prabhu?
He's gone to a specific city. quite famous city.
Dwarka?
Dwarka, that's it. He's gone to Dwarka, and he's gone there for a purpose. He's there in the monsoon months to fulfill his purpose. What is his purpose? He's gone to fetch himself a little lady. Yes, of course. That's the title of the chapter, right? So which little lady has he gone to capture?
Subhadra.
Subhadra Devi, yes, okay. So, and what's happening here? How did he go there to fulfill his purpose?
Disguise.
In disguise, yes. He's a little mischievous. He's gone there in disguise. And what specific disguise is that? Yes, he's dressed as a sannyasi. But actually, huh?
With 3 sticks.
With 3 sticks, yeah. He's carrying a tridanda, yes. So, and those 3 sticks mean? Body, mind, and words, all dedicated to the service of the Lord. Danda. When we bow down straight in front of the Lord, in front of the deities, or in front of Prabhupada, it's called Dandavats. Danda means like a stick, so like that. Straight like a rod. Why? Why like a rod? So that we can be picked up and used in the service of the Lord like a stick. So, yes, he was carrying a stick, danda, he was carrying his danda and dressed as a sannyasi. But actually, Arjuna is not a sannyasi, he is a, well, sannyasi is from ashram. So which ashram is he? Yes, we hear Radharani whispering from behind the curtain here. Yes, he's a grihasta. And he's also, which varna is he? He's a kshatriya. Okay, so in general, like it's a disguise. Okay, so now we're clear about the purpose, where he's at, and of course we understand that Lord Balaram was there, and that nobody seemed to recognize him, which is quite amazing because, of course, generally sannyasis, of course, I guess you could say many of the great kings, they also went to the forest, renounced, and took sannyas. But in general, sannyasis coming from the Brahmin class would be quite small-framed, skinny. And Arjuna is, we have Arjuna here, but Arjuna is described as, he was extremely tall, broad shoulders, muscles rippling. And, and this is also, he was previously, again, another time, he also disguised himself as a sannyasi. They all disguise themselves as mendicants, all the Pandavas. Okay, so moving on to text 5. I'll just read the Sanskrit translation and purport. Ekada griham aniya atityena nemantretam shwadayo paritam bakshyam balena bhubaje kila. One day, Lord Balaram brought him to his home as his invited dinner guest, and Arjuna ate the food the Lord respectfully offered him. Okay. Purport. From the explanation of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, it is understood that Arjuna, in his sannyas role, had just finished the 4-month vows of the rainy season, known as Chaturmasya, and could now again accept general invitations from householders. Thus, no one would have suspected any unusual motive in his visiting Lord Balaram at this time. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militangena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Stapitam Gena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagdajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patiranam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Zadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so it seems that Lord Balaram here has brought Arjuna to his home and as an invited dinner guest. And why would he do that? What hospitality? Yeah, it's the custom, as we hear here, for the grihastas, for those who are householders, to invite the sadhus to their house. Also, I think we were hearing the other day, that also Srila Prabhupada's father used to invite many sadhus to his home. Every day he would invite a sadhu to his home, keeping his mother very busy and cooking for them. But Srila Prabhupada didn't really have much appreciation for them. In fact, it kind of jaded his view and perspective of sadhus in general, thinking that many of them were unqualified. Yet, it's interesting that Gaur Mohan Dey, Srila Prabhupada's father, continued to do it. And it wasn't that he certainly wasn't blind to the fact that maybe these weren't the most advanced sadhus, but he still followed his dharma, inviting and serving the sadhus in his home. So this is actually a very powerful custom. And of course, we know that Bhaktivinoda Thakur later started, and since then, devotees have encouraged to do namahatas or home programs or bhakti vrikshas, where basically our homes become like a temple. And I was just speaking with a devotee the other day and discussing how in the Middle East, there are thousands, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 devotees, and there's not really any temple, but they come together regularly and they meet in groups and they meet at their homes, and then they come together and hire a big hall and have a big event. So like this, we see that there's great success in this small group program. And coming from the UK, Kripa Moya Prabhu was always encouraging the small groups, not much more than like 12 to 15, to come together, enabling devotees to interact and exchange conversation on Machchita Magata Prana Bodhyanta Paraswaram, that they come together and discuss the topics of the Lord. And in this way, they grow and they nourish one another. And of course, like any good Hare Krishna program, there has to be generally three things: some katha, some kirtan, and some prasadam. Yes. And of course, all of it together amalgamates into sangha, or association. So like that. So we see here that Lord Balaram, following his dharma as also a householder and a leader there, is inviting a sadhu to come to his house and honor food. Now, interesting point about this is that it opens up another topic, which I've always found not controversial, but maybe a little confusing. And I started to look into it more, which is the topic of Chaturmasya, which in the West even amongst the devotees, most are not really so familiar with it as something that is often followed or adhered to. And it could be a big topic of discussion. But it's 4 months, generally during what is known as from Shraddha until the end of Kartik. Whether you follow from the full moon to the full moon or the Ekadasi to the Ekadasi, these are always the debates that go on. But in general, it's 4 months leading from around the month of June, July, up until the end of Kartik, which could be end of October, November time. So like that, 4 months. And generally, what is that time in India? It's the rainy season. It's the time of monsoon and rainy season. And so therefore, a lot of the sadhus, and of course, hearing different stories at different times of the ways that the sadhus would seek kind of higher ground or drier place, or they would stay in one place. They wouldn't travel because it was just, impossible or atrocious to try to travel. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to Jagannath Puri and he stayed for 4 months during Chaturmasya at the home of Venkata Bhatt, who was the head pujari of the Ranganath temple in Sri Rangam. And he followed Chaturmasya there. So generally Chaturmasya, and I looked up, and Srila Prabhupada says different things in different places. Often Chaturmasya is referred to as an austerity that is coming from a specific section of the Vedas, which is the Karmakanda section. In fact, the verse in the Bhagavad Gita, which refers to the Vedas, I can't remember the verse now, but basically in that purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that Chaturmasya is generally like a Karmakanda activity. And I looked it up underneath in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, and there are, I could just read some of them here. I can find it. So yeah, it says that in the month of Shravan, July, August, one should refrain from eating spinach. In the month of Bhadra, August, September, yogurt. Month of September, October, milk. And in Kartik, one should avoid meat and urd dal. So just the fact that you're meant to avoid meat during the month of Kartik is a little like, okay, that's maybe not necessarily for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. But, O king, one who is my devotee and is fixed, one who passes the Chaturmasya season without observing religious vows, austerities, and chanting of japa, such a fool, although living, should be considered a dead man. For the purpose of Dharma, we should accept these various austerities and observances. I shall now describe to you all of them along with their respective results. No salt, one's voice becomes sweet. No oil, one's life is prolonged and gets progeny. No oil massages, one's body becomes beautiful. No cooking with oil, one's enemies are vanished. No licorice and oil, one becomes wealthy. Giving up wearing unoffered clothes, one becomes a Vidyadhara in Devapur. Giving up 6 kinds of taste, one never becomes ugly, smelly, or obtains a bad birth. So the list goes on. There are about, how many are there? 42 different austerities you can perform during Chaturmasya. And actually, most of them don't really have anything to do with pure devotional service. And this is coming from the Hari Bhakti Vilas. So in one sense, it kind of made me realize that, yes, in general, Chaturmasya is not something that we generally follow for different reasons, because we're not so interested in these things. But also it made me realize that actually one of the things that I found most attractive about the Vedic philosophy from the beginning is that it takes you where you are and puts you on the ladder to achieve the highest goals. So I remember, hearing Prabhupada discuss about even people who are meat eaters. Of course, eating of cows is never encouraged. But if you're going to sacrifice an animal, then you do it with a mantra that is one in knowledge, that I'm taking your life and I give you permission to take my life in the future to sustain your own life. So all of these things means that it doesn't necessarily condemn someone where they're at, but it picks them up from where they're at and puts them on a path to ultimately achieve the highest goal, which is Uttama Bhakti, which is the understanding of pure devotional, ourselves as spirit souls, Jiva Swarpoi Krishna and Nichidas, in eternal service to the Supreme Lord. So oftentimes people are encouraged, and we see this in different places, that not devotees, but people are encouraged to perform austerities at auspicious times so that they get some piety or some benefit which will help them to clear away bad karma, create some good karma, which we know Prabhupada explained that to transcend, we often have to come to the mode of goodness. Now, of course, sometimes devotees think they can or encourage people to just skip straight to transcendence, which most of us can't do. We may think we're on the transcendental platform, but sometimes we're probably not. And often we skip over the idea of trying to come to the level of sattva gun, which is actually, let me first try to become at least a good, wholesome person. In order to, and then I become a devotee, but I'm still like a mixed bag of stuff. So anyway, Chaturmasya, there's lots that can be said, but then I found the purport where Srila Prabhupada, let me see if I can pull that up. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada is describing, and this is in the 4th chapter of Madhya Lila 169, text 169. At the end of summer, Madhavendra Puri returned to Jagannath Puri, where he remained with great pleasure during the whole month of Chaturmasya. And in this purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Chaturmasya should be observed by all sections of the population. It does not matter whether one is a grihastha or a sannyasi. The observance is obligatory for all ashrams. The real purpose behind the vow taken during these 4 months is to minimize the quantity of sense gratification. This is not very difficult. And then Prabhupada says, similar thing, in the month of Shravan, don't eat spinach. In the month of Bhadra, don't eat yogurt. In the month of Ashwina, don't drink milk. And one should not eat fish or other non-vegetarian foods during the month of Kartik. A non-vegetarian diet means fish and meat. Similarly, and then Prabhupada qualifies, this is also mentioned in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, Masura dal and urad dal are also considered non-vegetarian. These 2 dals contain a great amount of protein, and food rich in protein is considered non-vegetarian. So it's specific dals, not all dals. So on the whole, during the 4th month period of Chaturmasya, one should practice giving up all food intended for sense enjoyment. So that's the month of Kartik. So there are different things stated in different places. The point being that we may follow. Also, there's another thing that I heard explained and also found qualified in different places. The Chaturmasya is also followed, the specific restrictions are followed for a specific purpose because it is the rainy season. So in the rainy season, that means there's hardly any sun, which means digestion is diminished. And also certain things are more difficult to digest and may cause disease. So like the idea of not eating spinach, what is up with that? Well, in the rainy season, spinach, lots of bugs will collect all over the leafy vegetables. So there's 2 things. One is that there's spread of potentially of bacteria and different things, but also there's potential that you're eating some little living entities. So it's something that's void. It's not just spinach, but generally green leafy vegetables. Yogurt, very difficult to digest. And milk, also people can become lactose intolerant or whatever it is. So all of these things are there that is a little bit broad, but it's also something that's followed in a specific place for a specific purpose. But just like devotees, like it mentions in one of the things that one should chant japa during the month of Chaturmasya. Well, we're always chanting japa. And we're always chanting like 16 rounds of japa, and some devotees chanting more than 16 rounds. We're trying to perform some devotional service. We're hearing from the Bhagavatam. So in fact, actually devotees who are kind of adhering to the process given to us by Srila Prabhupada are already on kind of, you could say, a different platform from someone who's just getting on the ladder to try to come to the platform of bhakti. So this principle of how things are done, as one wonderful devotee said, it's not what we do, it's how we do it. It's what is the consciousness behind why we're performing the austerity. Is our motive or mentality to try to get something out of this, or is it just to try to, like Ekadasi, we generally try to eat less so that we have to deal with the body less, not just for the sake of the body, but so we have more time to focus on chanting and hearing and associating with devotees, so like that. So it's the same for the month of Chaturmasya. So this was a little bit of a diversion, but basically Arjuna is now, he's been following, and finally he's finished his time of fasting, and he is going there to have prasad dinner with Lord Balaram. And it says, thus no one would have suspected his unusual motive. So here we see even Arjuna is motivated and he has an unusual motive. And what was his motive of going to the house of Balaram to have prasad?
Meeting Subhadra.
To see Subhadra Devi. And these are the next verses, which are very, very nice. Whoever's giving class the next couple of days. So, yes, so he literally just wants, dressed in the guise of a sannyasi, his motive is to get a lady. Associate with Subhadra Devi. So like that. So those are a few points on these verses and purport. I also wanted to take a moment to discuss, because today is the auspicious appearance day of Sri Ramananda Roy. So just thought I would mention about him. Anyone knows anything about Ramananda Roy? Like to offer anything? Okay. So Ramananda Roy also is a little bit of a, generally in Gaura Ganodesh Deepika, it's described who a person is from Chaitanya Leela and who they are in Krishna Leela. So, but with Ramananda Roy, first Ramananda Roy was considered one of the 3.5 most intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyone knows who the other 2.5 were? Not Nityananda, no. Sarup Damodar. Who? Couldn't hear you, Radharani. Okay. Still couldn't quite make it out. So it's actually interesting, persons that you might not know who they are. One is a devotee named Siki Mahiti. Siki Mahiti. Even Radharani is like, what? Siki Mahiti? Yeah, Siki Mahiti. And the half person was Siki Mahiti's sister. So these are the 3.5 most intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya. And Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar Goswami were there with Lord Chaitanya in his final days, always narrating pastimes. So Ramananda Roy is understood to be a number of different personalities. It's described in Gaura Ganodesh Deepika that there are 2 Arjunas in Krishna Leela. One is Priyanarma Saka in Braj. So in Vrindavan, there is an Arjuna who's a cowherd boy. Yes, who is not the same Arjuna from the Bhagavad Gita or from Hastinapur. So he is Arjuna Gopa, and the other one is the Arjuna of the Pandavas. So it's described in Gaura Ganodesh Deepika that these 2 combine together to become Ramananda Roy, the dear companion of Mahaprabhu. So some people say that Ramananda Roy was Lalita Saki, while others do not. So there you go. And Mahaprabhu himself told Bhavananda Roy that he was Pandu. the husband of Kunti. So Bhavananda Roy is the father of Ramananda Roy. And he said, Lord Chaitanya said to Bhavananda Roy that you are Pandu, the husband of Kunti and the father of the Pandavas, because Bhavananda Roy had, how many sons do you think he had? Five, exactly. So Bhavananda Roy was Ramananda Roy and Bhavananda Roy. They're from Odisha. We heard a talk the other night by Haladar Maharaj, and so we say Orissa often, but it's pronounced Odisha also. And he was from the Kayasta class, and he had five sons. Anyone knows the names of his five sons? Ramananda Roy was the oldest, by the way. The other four brothers were Gopinath Patanayanak, Kalanidhi, Shudanidhi, and Vaninath Patanayaka. So the Lord states in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you are Pandu himself and your wife is Kunti. Your five sons are the five Pandavas. Now, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has a little bit of a different perspective. Where is that? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He said, oh yeah. As stated in Gauragyanodeshtipika, some people hold that Ramananda Roy was an incarnation of Lalita. Some others are of the opinion that he was Vishaka. In his commentary on Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, the same love which Vishaka had for Radha and Krishna and Braj, and that love which Radha and Krishna had for Vishaka awakened in them when they met. And this meeting was with Ramananda Roy. Thus, it is clear that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur saw Ramananda Roy as Vishaka. But in any way, Ramananda Roy is a very, very intimate associate. And when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya instructed Lord Chaitanya when Lord Chaitanya was traveling to South India, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya instructed him or advised him, encouraged him to meet with Ramananda Roy. And Ramananda Roy was twice the age of Lord Chaitanya. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, this Ramananda Roy is the most advanced devotee in understanding the intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna and their Madhurya Ras. So when you go to South India, you must meet with Ramananda Roy. And so they did meet, and they spoke, not chatted, but they spoke and conversed on these topics. And there's an amazing dialogue, Ramananda Samart and Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Lord Chaitanya takes the role of the questioner, and Ramananda Roy takes the role of the guru or the instructor, giving answers. And so it's a very interesting dialogue that starts with Lord Chaitanya asking Ramananda Roy, what is the topmost understanding? And he says, Varnashram. And Lord Chaitanya says, no, there is something higher. There must be something higher. So then in that way, they go on in this amazing, wonderful conversation. So there's a nice statement from the 8th chapter of the Madhya Lila, where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Gauranga is like the ocean of spiritual truths, and he filled the cloud named Ramananda with the nectar of the purest conclusions of devotion to himself. Ramananda then rained down that same nectar on the very ocean from which it had come, producing jewels of transcendental knowledge. Isn't that beautiful? It's so amazing, such a beautiful. So I'll read it again. Gauranga is the ocean of spiritual truths, and he filled the cloud named Ramananda with the nectar of the purest conclusions of devotion to himself. Ramananda then rained down that same nectar on the very ocean from which it had come, producing the jewels of transcendental knowledge. So that's Chaitanya Charitamrita 281. So these are a few thoughts in a short amount of time, and we want to leave time for devotees to comment, interact, correct, chastise, or question as they like. So anyone here in the temple room have any thoughts?
Trying to come up with what to say. I don't know what to say, but once I start talking, it comes out. Hare Krishna. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
Okay. So, get off on the topic of Chaturmasya. Devotees were. The point is, Srila Prabhupada explained to us, the point is preaching. Preaching is the essence, books are the basis, utility is the principle, purity is the force. So the essence is preaching. So the devotees travel and preach. It's a great austerity. The sannyasi is usually supposed to stay in one place only 3 days, and then move, and then move. As Prabhupada said, this is Krishna movement, the Hare Krishna movement. If you want to follow me, you've got to move. So that's one way of pleasing Krishna, is to going from person to person, place to place, door to door, and share what we've heard from Guru. And then if by the circumstance of that place, it's difficult to travel, the rainy season makes it difficult to travel, then there's other austerities you might perform, like minimizing bodily indulgence. Devotees in the early days who were observing this, you'll see pictures of Radhanath Swami with a beard and hair. They don't shave. They eat once a day. They eat without their hands. They just lean over and put their face in the plate and eat, and then get up. They get up once. That's it. They stop eating. So it's a bodily necessity. It's a bodily difficulty in observance of that. Our activity is devotional service to Krishna, preaching. And if you can't do that, there's other things you can do to make it simpler bodily maintenance. But in this story, it's hard for me to understand. Maybe you can explain why disguised as a sannyasi. Why not go to the door, knock on the door, and say, "Hey, can I talk to Subhadra?" I don't understand it. But I guess the girls are, protected and secluded, and this was a way to sneak in within the inner circle of the household and actually approach and seduce Subhadra to become his consort. Anyway, interesting pastimes, but Krishna does these things, and then we talk about them, and we hear about them, and somehow there's a purifying effect that the Supreme Lord cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of devotee who relishes these messages. So, as a duty, as an offering to Krishna, we come and we hear the passages of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, where is the Srila Prabhupada?
Anyone else? Anything?
I'll just.
Hold on.
First of all, thank you for class. So many beautiful passages. I found myself kind of closing my eyes, just relishing so many of the things you were saying.
Can't hear him.
I think you can.
But
Can you hear online, Jeffrey?
I sure can. It's a little bit soft, so if Venu Madhuri could speak up, that would be wonderful.
okay, yeah. So I just had a reflection and appreciation of what you were saying about the bhakti practice, that it's sort of a path where you can get on anywhere, and it meets you where you are, which I think is so important, because so many times we either have obstacles or we create our own obstacles as to why we think we can't be on the path. And it was a nice reminder that the path is wide open and we can get on wherever we are. And also kind of putting what you said about Chaturmasya in that context, we may be tempted as we start to take on, the chanting of 16 rounds and the not eating of meat to kind of be like, oh, they're way back there, or Karmakanda, or something like that, but realizing that that's very much not the mood, and that we can also, like Prabhupada, take inspiration from even things that may be designed for people at different stages, and kind of take them to their essence to say it's just really about reducing bodily, sensory pleasure, and whether it's spinach or licorice or oil or whatever it is, it's more just about, thinking less about your enjoyment and more about devotion to Krishna. So I just appreciated what you said about that.
Beautiful, wonderful, thank you. Yeah, very nice points. And I think on this, we have a little bit more time. This point of Adi Purushpu brought up about, and we'll hear more as the pastime unfolds. But of course, Balaram had already pledged to give Subhadra to Duryodhana. So because of that, there had to be some some alternative method of trying to be, and actually it'll be described that everyone else agreed that Arjuna should marry Subhadra, but Balaram had his own opinion, which actually is an interesting thing, especially when it comes to Duryodhana. This comes up quite a lot, and we discussed it previously when there was the fight between Bhima and Duryodhana. And in fact, Balaram refused to fight in the Kurukshetra war. He went on pilgrimage because he wouldn't take sides. So it's interesting how even Krishna and Balaram don't always agree, and there are different interactions where they clearly disagree. But because Balaram is the older brother, Krishna will always submit to him in that mood, which is another thing, that there is such rich culture. The Vedic culture is so rich with the way that we conduct ourselves and interact with one another, that it really behooves us to understand and function according to this. Okay, so we're ready for darshan. Arti, thank you all very much. Hare Purusham Bhajami. Vrindavanaya Pracham Samasitam Burasudaramya Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Ichishasuma Govinda Hari Purusham Bhajami Govinda Hari Purusham
There's a rubber band. Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam. Jai. Our spiritual master are the only way by which we can obtain pure devotion and service. I bow down to his feet, pray all reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic flame emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy. Friend of the born, Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. May your fame be spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter at your lotus feet. Jai, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to the Afterglow. Does anyone have anything that they would like to add? I don't know that we have any, certainly not me, qualified to answer any questions, but we can address any observations or wisecracks. If that's all for this morning, then I invite you to have a wonderful Saturday and reflect on what Jai Nitai has spoken on this morning in terms of the relationship between the motivation and the austerity. And if Dana K, if you could unmute yourself and bless us with a Hare Krishna, we can end our yajna today.
Hare Krishna! How wonderful is Krishna! Haribol, Haribol! So grateful for all of you so much. Hare Krishna!
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Thank you very much and have a great day today.